Shotgun with Charlie.
Riding shotgun refers to the practice of sitting next to the driver in a moving vehicle. The term riding shotgun came around after the time of the stagecoach, when somebody used to sit next to the driver holding a shotgun, in case they ran into bandits. My name is Charlie Cook, and I drive a lot. I like to talk to people while I'm driving, so I interview people in my car while I'm driving. Welcome to Riding Shotgun with Charlie. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this episode of Riding Shotgun with Charlie. Before we talk to our passenger today, I do want to say that if you want to get some Riding Shotgun with Charlie stickers or some Gungram stickers, you have to go to writingshotgunwithcharlie.com and go to the swag and merch. You can also buy a patch, thanks to G Webs for these. He got these for us, which is cool. So please check out that. You can also check out, if you want to help support the show, you can go to teespring.com/stores/Riding Shotgun with Charlie, and you can buy coffee mugs, you can buy shirts, and you can buy hoodies as well. So please visit the Teespring store to buy some shirts and some gear and whatnot. Anyway, before we start today's show, we have with us Joe Morse.
Hello.
What's happening?
What up, brother?
He is from Shooting Gallery, New England, and you have a cigar channel too, I believe?
Yes, Smoke a Millennial. Yeah.
Oh, Smoking Millennial. So we're going to talk about that. Before we do, we are going to hand sanitize with some Lead Slingers hand sanitizer. This stuff is wicked watery. Wicked watery.
Yikes. Big yikes.
Since we are here in Plymouth, Massachusetts.
Yeah, we don't want to get nabbed.
We do not. Dude, there's a guy.
Yeah, that is.
It's potent, man.
That is potent. Yikes.
It is. There's a guy. There's a
homeless guy?
There is a homeless guy out here, but he just ordered a Domino's pizza.
No, he did not.
Dude, the Domino's Pizza guy went over here to the boat and delivered there's no people over here.
Where did that guy go?
I have no idea.
Oh, man.
No idea.
We were talking before this. The pilgrims would just be like, what did you guys do?
Right.
It's the most populated area in a mile radius, the most bars in a populated area outside of Vegas, and it just turns into this in the winter.
It's anticlimactic.
Yeah, it's anticlimactic. We did the picture with the rock.
Picture with the rock, which we'll put here. Got a picture by the boat.
Yeah.
Which is not the real rock or the real boat.
No, definitely not.
Crazy. Joe, thanks for being on the show, man.
I know. I'm so excited about this. I've been trying to get on the show for a while.
Isaac's. This is the place we used to go to.
Yes,
it's closed.
Isaac's. This area took a big hit with COVID, man. I tell you, I don't know how a lot of these restaurants are going to survive. Thank God that this area has a lot of pride for this area, because in Plymouth, as a former bouncer in this area, you wouldn't know, you would love to know the amount of pride you get in this area for the restaurants, and that's what's keeping a lot of them open. But some of them, I can't imagine what they're going through. Liquor sales, all that.
Yeah, all of that. I have seen some video of our governor from here in the Commonwealth say that people, the restaurants, he's shutting it down where they have 50%, maybe less, of their restaurants full, and tell them they have to learn how to survive on 50% of their
the takeout business is really kicked off. This is actually, if you guys ever check out the Smoke a Millennial cigar channel, I actually film all my videos in that parking lot right there. I do. Yeah.
Really?
Yep. In the soul.
Oh
in the soul.
God. In the soul.
I have the whole camera set up. People like to walk by me, and I get that look of like,
what is this guy doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that look too.
Well, that's the thing. We're driving in style.
I know, right? We're driving in the stagecoach.
The stagecoach.
Despite what Amanda Suffolcool says, it is a cool ride.
It is a cool ride. It is.
All right, well, let's talk about you, man. How did you get into gun stuff? Like, you've got your own little channel.
Yes, I do.
The Shooting New England, and you're testing stuff, like testing if the suction's gonna work on these.
It happens, man.
This is live video.
Well, yeah.
Not really live video. But,
we are live.
We are live, and we're doing video. man. The magic of editing. I call it the magic of TV.
Yep. So I got into guns very. I just kind of went full force into it. I didn't grow up in a gun house. Like my parents were. Yeah. For lack of a better term, kind of like against guns. And,
against it or just not for it?
I wouldn't say against it. We didn't have it. Like my dad had BB guns and stuff like that because he raised exotic pheasants and peacocks and stuff like that. So he had like varmint control. So that's like the extent we had BB guns.
Raised exotic pheasants?
Yeah, my dad.
Peacocks?
My dad was the Tiger King before Tiger King was cool.
Oh my God, the Tiger King of Massachusetts.
Yeah, that's crazy. With peacocks and birds. He was my dad's a cool cat. He just was into, he loves his animals. So, but yeah, no, I never really grew up. Then I got into, I switched schools a lot when I was younger because I was bullied profusely. So I had like a very I had to protect myself. Mm-hmm. So when I started getting into hunting because my buddy was like, hey, why don't we come coyote hunting? I'm like, what the hell is that?
Right.
So
people hunt coyotes?
Well, we went coyote hunting with bows, and I'm like, this does not seem smart. At night. You
gotta get close to the
so I'm like
close to hit him with a bow.
So I was like, all right, I'll take my hunter safety course, and in Mass, that's how you can kind of get your gun license, one of your FID. I was like, I think it was like 19, 20, so I did the week-long hunter safety course, and it was like cool. I never really was around guns, and the guy was like, yeah, this is a pump shotgun you use. He taught us like safety and all that, and I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool. So I got my FID card, and which is your firearms identification
card for non-large capacity rifles and shotguns, ammunition.
Yep. You can only buy pretty much shotguns and any bolt action rifles, SKSs, which is like the semi-automatic to buy if you're FID card owner or if you have rimfire. So I bought a 22 rifle, and that kind of was like, wow. I shot my 22. It was a Mossberg 715 tactical. The biggest piece of crap you could ever buy. I'm sorry, changed my mind.
Sorry, Mossberg. So there goes the Mossberg sponsorship.
There it goes. I'm done. But it was weird. Like I never thought I shot paintball and stuff like that, and I understood okay, listen, guns are it's a right. I understood what the Second Amendment was, and I was always a big constitutionalist. Yeah. I never really considered myself a Democrat, Republican. The Constitution was the lay of the land, and my dad instilled that to me very early, and my mom didn't understand it because her boyfriend, he was into guns and he had guns and stuff like that, and never really talked about it. So my mom, when I started bringing I lived with my mom for a little bit, and then I bought a second gun, and I was like, wow, this is fun. I started going shooting, and I always tell people guns saved my life because I wasn't really doing anything with my life. I didn't really have any plan. I graduated high school, didn't go to college right out of high school. So I went to the workforce. I was like, all right, I got to build my credit. Thank God my lovely wife sat through me through everything. And I just was like, all right, I got my instructor's license. I just started thinking, maybe I'll start teaching,
Yeah. This might be kind of cool,
Yeah, this might be kind of cool. And I did. I taught a lot of people. I got my instructor's license, did the NRA stuff. It kind of progressed very quickly. Really? So once I became of age, I got my license to carry, and I finally got rid of that Mossberg, and I got a pistol, and I started carrying, and I really realized back in the day when I was bullied and I had changed all these schools, I was a victim, and then I realized I'm not going to be a victim anymore. I'm taking my self-protection, and I'm going to take the responsibility of protecting my family, my then fiance, girlfriend, I don't know where we were at that point, but my then fiance.
Whatever she was, I don't know.
I married my high school sweetheart. We've been with each other for 10 years. So.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. So I want to take it very personally. It's just kind of how I was raised. Yeah. And it just went from there. So I decided, okay, I want to do this. I just found my passion. Some people find their passion with cooking. Some people find their passion with cars. I found it was something that people really either don't like or they love. So I got into guns, and it literally was my one passion that like I want to do this for the rest of my life.
That's cool.
And so that's how I kind of got into gunsmithing. I went to Sonoran Desert Institute because I kept seeing all these YouTube videos about it, and then I talked to John Patton from the Gun Collective, and he was just like, dude, if you want to get into guns, I would definitely recommend going to SDI. And it was the best thing I could have ever done. And through that, I started my YouTube channel, and that was just to tunnel my passion even more. And with the channel, I get to talk to guys that I've watched for years, and it just some of them I can call on a first name basis.
Yeah,
you know,
which is cool.
Yeah.
Gunsmithing. This is what I don't get about gunsmithing. This usually seems to be something that old guys do, and you are not an old guy.
No.
So how is
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm losing my hair. My hearing's gone. Yeah. Thank you for not calling me young. You're a beautiful soul. Thank you.
I mean, really, when I think about a gunsmith, you think of this old leathery guy, you know?
Usually just like with shotguns. Grumpy. Look at this state.
Look at this.
I've blown past this guy every morning, doing at least 70, and I think I'm teeter-tottering with the. Okay, is he gonna pull me over one day? Is he not gonna pull me over? Yeah, like I'm playing that line very thick. It's just like it's tinsel at this point.
Right.
But yeah, I just liked working on guns. I liked working on Legos, and when I was a kid, just building stuff. And you know, I was a painter, so I just liked working with my hands, and if I could work on guns, and it's just that like knack, just working on stuff. Yeah. I'm very new at it, and certain things I just don't know how to do, like machining. I'm kind of getting into it a little bit. When it comes to refinishing, I had that painting background, so I can spray Cerakote if I have that with me, thank God. But it's problem solving, and I've always kind of liked problem solving, and so I got into gunsmithing, and it's literally the best job I've ever had. I literally go to work every day and shoot guns, and you can't ask for anything better. Like I've gotten to play with some of the coolest guns. I've worked on original Walther PPKs. I've worked on Browning high powers. I've never thought I'd be able to ever own a Browning high power, because Massachusetts, you got to go through Narnia and then come back through Hogwarts to figure out the firearms laws. So it's just the stuff I get to work with, even like the old school rimfire Remington pump actions. Like I've had some cool stuff come across the bench that I'm just like, wow. And then unfortunately I gotta do the mass compliant work, which it tears me up, like, you know. But it's cool. I get to literally like work with like some cool guns I've always wanted.
Do you have to have a special FFL to work?
No, I work under my job.
Okay.
I work at Cape Gun Works. I try not to like do the crossover that much.
Right. Yeah.
Because like
to collide.
Yeah. It's just I can't thank them enough.
Yeah.
That they're like, all right, this kid's fresh out of gunsmithing school. They realize, hey, he's new at it. I've definitely broken stuff before, but I learned how to fix it.
Yeah.
I don't know everything. I've always been like, listen, I'm not an expert. Don't expect me to know every single thing. Right. I know what I've had experience with. So
sure.
And they're taking a chance on me, and all I do is I do the best I can. I'm the first one in the door every day. I make sure I go at the best hours, but I come in 2-3 hours early just to like make sure I get stuff done. And from what I've been told, they're happy with me, so that's all I can ask for.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. It's a blessing, and I humble myself every day knowing that I've been working for 6 years just trying to get into the firearms industry. It used to be like pro wrestling. You'd have to know somebody to get in to work the territories, and then maybe one day you get to the big show.
Yeah. That's a funny analogy.
I'm a huge pro wrestling fan. Like I can go into like a deep dive into how certain territories, if they did if they didn't sell out to Vince McMahon, they could have still been vibrant today.
They could have kept the WCW going.
No, that was a falling ship, and it crashed and burned, and I'm happy. But I'm talking like you go to like World Class Championship Wrestling on Dallas with the Von Erichs, or you go to Florida Championship Wrestling where old Dusty Rhodes used to run. Like, there's certain territories that if they did the right moves, they could have stayed alive.
Right.
But that's just, you know, one nerd talking about stuff. My wife will like
talking about wrestling.
Yeah, wrestling.
Oh my God, too funny, man.
Yeah, at one point I thought I was going to be a professional wrestler, and then the knee injury kind of kicked in and kind of shot it up.
Yeah, that would do it.
Yeah, I injured my knee in high school. I played baseball, and then down the road, I've been dealing with a knee injury for the past like 4 years. Had a surgery, and then recently when I went to go with my dad, it just came back. So I'm like dealing with that. So my channel, you could tell like there was like a couple week period where there was nothing, and you're like, okay, because I was, you know, talking to certain gun YouTubers, and they're like, you got to be consistent, you got to do this. I run a podcast every Monday, Shooting the Woods podcast. Check this out, it's pretty good. Yeah, we got to get you on the podcast.
I'd love to. Yeah, that'd be great.
And so I did the show, but I didn't do any content. So I was like, oh, and then everyone's like, what's going on? I'm like, oh, dude, I have a knee injury. I can't really move. So
right, that makes it tough.
Yeah. So I'm working through that, but that's why at least I'm not gonna be running the ropes as a wrestler, but I get to shoot the coolest guns on God's green earth.
That's awesome.
And I get to talk to some of the coolest people. You know, we're running a Charger. Like,
I know, right?
Yeah.
It's not so bad.
I know. It's pretty sweet. You know, this is a V6 or a V8?
It's a V6.
V6.
Let's not be ridiculous. Here's what's completely silly. When the idea came out, when I had the idea that I should get a Charger, you know, I started looking at used cars and everything, in order to get one that's all-wheel drive, it's going to cost like an extra $5,000. So,
yeah.
So I went to Home Depot. I got a couple of 70-pound bags of sand in the back. I got like a 50-pound bag of salt. Yeah.
Only in Mass you can have that conversation, or just New England in general.
Right. In Jersey, it's usually a couple of dead bodies back there. But
yeah. Depending on certain, or you know, the Bronx. You know.
Right. Yeah, so I got 2 snow tires on the back, and I'm glad we've had a light winter.
Yeah, we've been very, very lucky.
Yeah, and I'm sure we're going to jinx ourselves for the next couple of months. But
well, once we get to February, usually February is that like tipping point of, okay, Valentine's Day happens, usually the week of Valentine's Day.
Yep.
And it's just snow. It's the month of snow, and then it will last till about June.
Yeah, it seems like forever.
Yeah, it is. It's nuts.
Anyway,
so what are you gonna do?
So you do a lot of like some of the videos that you put out are adding stocks and putting things together. You know, doing the gunsmithing thing, which is cool.
Yeah.
But I've seen you. I think I've seen you like use some things that may not be mass legal. Right? Like, did you have a suppressor on something once?
No. Never had something.
All right.
I never had a suppressor on anything. Right. No,
because I've seen you with some things. I saw you with this. I don't even know what it is, and I'm going to look like a buffoon for not knowing what it is. But it was a gun that Chuck Schumer shot. It was about this big.
Oh, the Tech 9. Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, that's my baby. That is a pre-ban. It's a Clinton assault weapons ban. So for those who don't know, Massachusetts, again, the gun laws, you can't have anything fun, like just nothing. So you have to follow. We're still living under the 1994 assault weapons ban. Yeah. In 2004, the 1994 assault weapons ban, the Brady bill, it sunsetted, so you couldn't manufacture or buy new what they call, or media calls, assault weapons for 10 years. Massachusetts adopted that. I believe it was it Martha Coakley? I believe. I don't know
if it was Coakley, but I want to say Mitt Romney was the
Mitt Romney.
The minister was the one that did that.
Ooh, the Romney. Okay, so Romney was our governor at one point, and I'm not gonna lie. I think Mass has had, when you really break it down politically, all these people that everyone just hates in the gun industry come from Massachusetts. When you really just break it down, a good majority of them have come from Mass.
Yeah, and all right, so here's some Massachusetts politics, and I don't mean to bore people. Yeah. But I see a lot of folks on the Facebook forums that are excited because Joe Biden. Oh man, Joe Biden says he wants to get you know, they're like, well, let's get rid of Maura Healey and have her, you know, let's send her to Washington. And
that would be the worst thing.
It would, because I'm like, dude, you can't.
The worst thing you could ever do.
We're upset about how things are here in Massachusetts, but we want to take that person and send her to Washington, D.C. to make that for everybody.
Yeah.
That is a bad call.
And, you know, you had Jay McMahon in here on the show.
Yeah.
I met him. Yeah, I met him at the Second Amendment rally over the summer, and even from the start, I was like, I think that guy is the best pick for Attorney General. He should have won in the midterms. But what it was our Attorney General did what everyone does, and they go to the major cities.
Right.
Unfortunately, and we're a very blue state, but. When I met Jay, Jay McMahon is probably one of the nicest, like down to earth.
Great.
Yeah. He is a gun guy through and through.
He is.
He was at the rally. He didn't just like dad sheets. He was just like, hey man, what's up? And I was like, dude, you have my vote at midterms. I want you to know that. Like, he's running for Senate, and he would be the best thing for, especially for gun rights.
Absolutely. All right, we are.
We're going over the Sagamore Bridge.
Coming up to the Sagamore Bridge, which is in. It's in Sandwich. I think it's in Sandwich. I don't know.
This is technically considered.
Is it still Plymouth?
No, this is actual Sagamore. It's
Sagamore.
Yeah, it's the gateway to Cape Cod.
Gateway to the Cape. It's at the end of Road 3. So we're going over Sagamore. We're going to go down Road 6, come over the Bond Bridge, come back, top of the.
You're going to go to Pocasset.
We're going to go Pocasset, and then we're going to turn around and come back up Road. We're going to hit the Rotary and then hit Road 3.
Yeah.
We might get a Dunkies on the way.
Dunkies. Yeah. That's like the one true thing. If you're from Mass, you have to have Dunkin Donuts.
So I am rabidly anti-Dunkin Donut.
Oh my gosh!
And it's
why?
not that I'll tell you why. I will gladly tell you why. I am convinced that
Dunkin Donuts.
I'm not. Yes.
How do you live in Massachusetts?
I'm not.
Please tell me you're like.
I'm not originally from here.
Okay, that has to be the case.
That is why.
I went every time I leave the state, and if I can't find a Dunkin Donuts, I'm an asshole. Pardon my language, but I did a full honeymoon in Florida.
Yeah.
All it was Starbucks. And I got back. I flew into TF Green. That Dunkin Donuts was the best coffee I've ever had in my life.
So back in the 90s, and I took this attitude back in the 90s. I was teaching and working just in Somerville, Massachusetts, which is just outside of Boston.
Okay.
And I would go to Dunkin Donuts 2 or 3 times a week.
I go twice a day.
Here's what I discovered. The guy in front of me said he wanted. He said he wanted the regular, which I didn't realize that the regular there's a regular way to have coffee, you know, with cream and a couple sugars. So he asked for the regular, and he didn't have any money, so he asked the girl if he would put it on his tab. He had a tab at Dunkin Donuts. And I'm like, you know what? They're not really selling coffee. They're selling liquid heroin, is what it is.
I'm proud of it.
And
I'm proud of it. I don't care. If I could have a tab, that would be the worst.
Oh my God.
When you're thinking of like a credit card, oh my God, I would max that out.
Yeah,
I'll admit,
That's nuts. And then the donuts are good.
They're trash. They're trash. I just like the coffee.
I call them sweatshop donuts.
Oh, they are. You gotta go to Honeydew.
Honeydew. So there's no Honeydews out near me.
Honeydew.
I will say this: the donuts that I like the best, there are 2 price choppers that have these kick-ass donuts, right? And I'm just a plain have a vanilla donut, maybe a Boston cream.
Not a fan.
They're huge. They're delicious. They're less expensive. They're 3/4 of the price of the Dunkin' Donuts.
Yes, they are. Donuts are overpriced at Dunks.
They are.
But and I think I'm starting to see some Dunkin' Donuts having the like no guns allowed. I don't
really.
I've seen a couple stickers, and I'm just like, oh man, if you only knew what I like. I carry a gun every day, every single day. I got one. Of course. You know, and I'm like, I'm just gonna get my coffee. Like, what are you gonna do? Like,
right.
It's terrible.
It's ridiculous.
I did some collab work yesterday in Rhode Island.
Rhode Island?
Yeah, Rhode Island. And I never knew how, like, they're just 25 minutes depending on where you are in Mass.
It's not far.
Their laws are much different. You can have extended magazines. You can't do any like NFA stuff.
Let's not call them extended magazines.
So, yeah.
Regular capacity.
Regular capacity. That's the indoctrination of Massachusetts on me.
It is.
It's
so-called high cap magazines.
Yes. High cap bags.
Right.
You can have pretty much anything except NFA stuff like short barrel rifles, suppressors.
Sure.
And
but you can't get a license down there unless you have property. Like
no.
for non-res.
Yeah.
It's hard to get a non-res Rhode Island permit.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I'm happy. I'm hoping that constitutional carry bill. I feel you shouldn't have to have a permit anyway. I think the whole country should be constitutional carry. When we're born in this country as free Americans. That is given to us by a creator, our creator. We don't have a government body telling us that what we can and can't have. The founders of our country, and most people my age don't think like this, which is kind of weird. If you go back to the point where redcoats are coming, and when the redcoats landed in Boston, first thing they did was they tried to take everybody's guns.
Yeah, that's how the Revolutionary War started.
Yeah, well, we went to war over 3% tax, right. And nowadays,
it's 10 times that.
Yeah, 10 times that on anything.
Right.
And over tea. And I'm not a tea drinker, but they invoked these laws where the redcoats would pretty much force themselves into people's houses. Take their firearms. Granted, yeah, they're muskets. Can you imagine how the Revolutionary War would go on if they had mini 14s of all things? Like, times change, but the laws should stay the same. With what we're dealing with now, especially, it's I talk to some people all over the country, and they're just amazed of their outrage, and it's like when you live in a state like Mass, it's. You get to the point where you're not surprised. You're like, well.
Yeah, it's discouraging to tell people.
Yeah.
All of the restrictions that we have here.
So it's almost like Mass in California. Mass is the East Coast California. And, it doesn't get it's next to probably New Jersey. New Jersey's pretty tough.
New Jersey. And I love my buddies from New Jersey. I got a lot of shows from New Jersey coming out, and going to hunt with those guys down there. But
you're a hunter.
Yeah.
What do you like to do?
Look, I'm hunting to me is sitting in a tree stand with a bow and reading a book and dropping it and then taking a nap and wondering what the hell I'm doing. Okay? Make that perfectly clear. I had a hunting permit, and I got a hunting permit because I thought that was the logical process that you would do if you become a gun guy. So that was.
We're going over the Bourne.
We're going over the Bourne Bridge next, Pally. We're gonna hop in the rotary and let's just.
This is just.
Here we go. The Bourne Bridge looks just like the Sagamore Bridge, except it's in Vaughan.
Yeah, that's.
I'm one of these guys. Whenever I come down to the Cape, there's two things I do. I always listen to Jimmy Buffett.
Okay,
because
I get that.
It's ridiculous,
yeah,
but I used to play. The only time I would come to the Cape are for gigs. We'd come down. I was a gigging musician for 10 years, and we would come down to the Cape to do gigs, and that was it. And then I don't know why we listen to Jimmy Buffett. We never did Jimmy Buffett.
He slays. He's like. Then again, I listen to I can't every time. It just happens. I listen to Dropkick Murphys every single day. It's almost like if you don't listen to Dropkick Murphys, Aerosmith, and like the Boston Red Sox, you're like a communist. That's if you live in Massachusetts and don't love Aerosmith, the Dropkick Murphys, and live and breathe New England Patriots, you might as well live in communist China.
This is what I've noticed, and this is a timely reference. People in Massachusetts are completely like Carla Tortelli with their sports.
So I'm gonna go on a limb. I have no clue who that is.
Carla Tortelli. Yeah. It's wonderful.
No,
wonderful.
I'm showing my age. I'm young. I'm definitely a millennial.
That's all right, man.
But
so Carla Tortelli was a character on the show called Cheers.
Oh, okay. I know what Cheers is. I never watched it.
Yeah, that's all right. So Carla Tortelli was a big sports fan, and if you said she would sit there and dog the Red Sox and dog the Celtics and everything. I don't even think they talked about the Patriots back then, but she would dog the Red Sox and the Celtics.
They didn't have Tom Brady.
All of the time. Tom Brady was just a young lad.
A young lad, yeah.
And they would, she would say all these bad things about them, but if you came in and said something bad about the Red Sox or the Celtics, Carla Tortelli would stab you. Which is completely what it's like being a sports fan in New England. For the sports fans, I'm not a sports guy.
I'm not real. I like pro wrestling.
But
I like guns. Like, why can't like Boston have a Jerry Michalek?
Right.
Like, I'm just saying that if we could get competitive shooting, which in the landscape we have today, and that's another thing, you know, kids nowadays, I think, that I'm not a kids person, I'm going to be quite honest, I don't really care for children.
I like my kids.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, you have kids, and I don't shame people for having kids, like, I was the youngest of my family, ironically, is very big.
Yeah.
I only have one brother, but I have a lot of cousins. I'm the youngest cousin other than one, and he's actually in the military right now. I've actually never really met him, to be quite honest, but I'm literally I'm probably the youngest cousin on both sides, my mom and dad.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of cousins. I come from an Irish family out of Rhode Island, so there was the baby boom. They had 20 effing kids. So no, I think there's like 8. There's gosh. 8. There's one of 7 on my mom's side, and then my dad's one of 8, I believe.
Yeah.
So I got a lot of cousins, and I never was around children, so I don't know. A lot of my friends are having kids now, and I'm just like, hey, hello.
Right. Hi, little person.
I don't know.
Nice to see you. Please don't drool on me.
Yeah. I just look at them like, why do people have these things? And my wife's like, don't do that. I'm like, what? I don't understand. So I don't know how to act around kids.
That's all right.
But like, that's another reason why I wouldn't want kids, because I would love to show my passion with my child.
Yeah.
And I would never want to put my child through what we go through in such a young age. If they say, yeah, my dad took me shooting this weekend, or my dad is getting me into, rimfire competition.
Right.
Kids are afraid to say that, or their parents have to tell them, don't say this in school.
Right,
which
in school, yeah.
Shooting guns should be as American as it should be normal. It's as American as apple pie and baseball.
Absolutely.
It's part of that. So that's why I try to throw that into my channel a lot, and just like, not a lot of people think like that, and it's like some of my friends that I'll admit, like, I have some non-gun friendly friends, and they don't understand. And I'll go on these like tirades of and
I had a friend of mine that was his wife was trying to do photography, and so she needed to get some practice in, so I had her make some pictures to put on my website. It was a bunch of years ago, and so he's like, listen, don't let my wife shoot guns. All right. Okay. Just she's there to take pictures.
Okay.
Cool, man. Not a big deal. So we get some pictures, and then this guy comes in. This instructor comes in with a couple students. He's got one of those a Smith & Wesson M&P 15 that's in the pink camouflage, and he's got a Ruger LCR that's in purple, right?
Oh,
and so she's like, "Oh my gosh, that's cute. Can I shoot that?" Yeah, that's cute. Do you mind if I shoot this? He's like, "Sure." So she shot his 15-22. She shot a couple of his handguns.
Yeah.
And she had a good time.
Yeah.
She enjoyed it. She, quick safety lesson and quick fundamentals. So she shoots the guns. He calls me at 10:30 that night. Hey, what'd you do to my wife? What are you talking about, man? She said she shot some guns. I told you not to let her shoot guns. I said I didn't. She said she was shooting. I'm like, someone else asked her, and she said yes.
Loophole.
I had nothing to do with it, man.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. The more people you get into it, and everyone's always all afraid of what's going to happen with the country, considering the political climate, and you don't realize, like, the rare occasion I do keep my door open at the shop, I see the amount of guns and new people that they're interested, and they buy their first handgun, or they buy their first .22 rifle, or they just want a shotgun for self-defense. And I see the people, they take self-protection a little bit differently nowadays, and I think that's awesome. And I always tell people, like, listen, I'm never gonna try and push my beliefs on you. Like, I'm the most Second Amendment guy you could ever meet, but also I know when you're preaching to the choir, or you're not getting anywhere.
Yeah.
It's
sure.
You can't push. That's what I think is what would stop a lot of people, is you push the beliefs on each other, and it gets to the point where they're like, awesome. And that's what needs to stop. And you need to start getting more education out there, and you got to start making it more normal for someone to, if they want to go, and you're probably going to get killed in the comments for this, but stop thinking everyone needs to get a shotgun and start shooting trap and skeet. You get a particular group of people that shoot those games, and they are the ones that will deter a lot of people. That got me out of shotguns. I don't shoot shotgun games because the people that I've encountered, it's probably different if you leave Mass, because everyone's just like mad at the world.
I don't think so. I think we have the folks that hunt. We have the people that do competitive shooting.
Yes.
We like the people that are into personal protection and concealed carry, and then we have the shotgun folks.
Yes.
And
they're a special breed.
Yeah. And what's crazy to me about the shotgun folks is they are they're the folks that will think that the anti-gun folks are not coming for their shotguns.
And they're gonna come.
Right. It's the salami method of gun control that people are taking, where it's you don't need a 30-round magazine, take a 15-round magazine. And then you don't need a 15-round magazine, you should get a 10-round magazine. And then 10 rounds fine, 10 rounds probably too many.
Exactly.
You put 8 rounds in there, and then you probably don't need anything more than one of those little 5-shot revolvers. Turns into the Joe Biden special of the double-barrel shotgun.
Have you ever shot a double-barrel shotgun? It's not fun. Like, it kicks like a damn mule.
Yeah.
Like, especially if you get. I'm a big proponent of 20 gauge right now. I don't know why. I've been working on some 20 gauge shotguns, and I'm like, all right, cool. But back to the original point, though, that crowd can deter incoming gun owners. So why don't you make USPSA shooting more prevalent in the area, or 3-gun is pretty much, from what I hear, is kind of dead, but like IDPA, there's so many different multi-gun nationals, all that stuff. Get that type of shooting back into the culture. And I'm not deterring people that would shoot shotgun. Like, dude, you do you. If you want to shoot a shotgun game, go ahead. I've done it. I don't really care for it. It just doesn't tickle my fancy. Yeah. I like, you throw an AR in my hand. I built a fixed mag 20-inch DMR on my channel off a JC Arms fixed mag receiver. I'm building another one off of Darkstorm Industries fixed mag receiver.
Cool.
I throw that in my hand, and I love sitting down, kind of transitioning a little bit when I can. Working off a fixed mag, it's a little bit different, so it's kind of like a bolt gun, but you get semi-automatic. It's a special way of shooting.
Cool.
But I like that.
That's what you think.
Yeah.
I will say this. What I like about shotgunning is the instant gratification of either you hit your target or you don't hit your target.
That's what, hey, if you like it, you like it. I'm just...
Right. Yeah, I went out a few years ago, I don't know, about 8 years ago maybe, I went dove hunting with a friend of mine in the Midwest. And he's a great guy that I grew up with. And so he's like, hey, he wants to go dove hunting. And I'm like, man, if I was in the Midwest, I'd go dove hunting. He's like, why don't you come out? I'm like, that's a good question. Like, I'm divorced, and so I should go kill the bird of love. And now that I'm not dead, divorced.
All right, that's a riot. I like
so
that.
I went to go practice shotgunning, and I went to the range, and it was a weekend. I had the kids, and they came with me, and they sat in the car, and my daughter knocked on the window and called me out. I missed the call, right? I had a little thrower. I had this cool foot operator one now, but I didn't have one at the time.
Yeah, those are pretty cool.
I love those things, man. But I had to pull some string and then bring the shotgun up, and it wasn't pretty. Yeah. So anyway, my daughter knocked on the window. She's like, Dad, I saw you hit that one, but it didn't break until it hit the ground. Thanks, sweetheart.
Well, they got those cool, it looks like a bazooka thing now. Yeah, my buddy Clovertac, he did a video on it where you
God bless Clovertac.
he is one of the people that like I am glad I met.
Yeah.
He's helped me a lot in the YouTube game and like just give me the best advice. Like I was gonna go to SHOT Show this year and I was gonna meet up with everybody, but then that SHOT Show didn't happen.
I was on Clover's show. I think it was January of 2020, maybe.
Yeah, I trolled the comments and I was like, get me on the show.
And then we became friends and whatever, interacted online and everything. And then I was in 2019. I was on a show. I'm out at the out in Phoenix at the Gun Rights Policy Conference. And I was filming some interviews in the morning, and he came out, waved to get in the camera. I'm like, all right, dude, get in the car. I don't know what you're doing right now. Nothing's starting. We got time. Get in the car. Let's go.
Yep.
So I did a quick little interview with him. Chris is a great guy.
One of the nicest people in the world. Then a bunch of other people like my buddy Max. He runs the channel Slav Guns, Pennsylvania. Mm-hmm. He's on the near the Poconos. He's been helping me out a lot. Just I'm not a tech savvy guy. I'm a gun guy that I like making content. If I could, my original goal is I was using my YouTube channel to get further into the firearms industry. It got me Gunworks, gunsmithing, and I don't think it got me there. I'm not gonna lie. I dropped your name. I dropped Rob Pincus's name because I know Rob Pincus shoots there. I texted everyone before I went to the interview. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna drop your name. Right. If they call you, just say I'm cool. Yeah. I don't know if that helped, but I don't know if they even look at my channel. Some of the guys actually watch my channel. I was telling everybody, like, oh, dude, I'm gonna be on Ride Truck on Charlie this Monday, and they're like, hell yeah, because we got a guy that used to work at the Gun Runner. Middleborough. Yeah. So he was like, oh yeah, I know.
I had John on the show last year.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. Yeah. I actually live like 5 minutes from Gunworks, but I drive the 50 minutes to Gunworks. Right. But like, I use my YouTube channel. I want to get into the gun industry. I got offered a job like twice at 6 Hour. It didn't really work.
The gunsmith?
No, one of them was I was gonna test the guns before they left the factory. So literally, like when they came off the line, they offered me. It was like an overnight gig, and I'm like, all right. I'm thinking, and it didn't line up with that time. Right. My wife got offered a job at a police department for a dispatcher, and I was like, I made that decision. And the second time, before we started filming today, I told you I had a rough go over quarantine, and I got offered the job again. But this time it was working on the line, assembling guns, and I think it was working at the 6 Hour Academy. Cool. A little bit, and again, times didn't align. I turned it down again. I've tried to get into some. I want to get into like eventually, if I could do something where I do like social media or some type of marketing, where I love talking product. Yeah. That's what. Like, thank God I learned that type of stuff as a car salesman. Mm-hmm. If when I do work on the floor, I don't really work on the floor selling guns that much. I'd rather just work on it myself in the shop. But when customers ask me like, hey, what do you think of this? Or if I have someone that just doesn't know, I love talking product, and I get to tell them, well, if you're looking to get, a concealed carry gun, you got to consider these options.
You got to think about.
Yeah, and like, I pride myself. I'd like to say, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I'd like to think I'm pretty knowledgeable on a lot of guns.
Sure, absolutely.
And that's the thing. I'm very humble. I don't want to say like, yeah, I know this, and this. I'm not one of those Topper Harrisons who's like, I've done X, Y, and Z. Right. I like to keep to myself and kind of be a gray man, but also help someone out. I love helping people in that aspect.
It's good to educate folks on what they need to do. Yeah.
So with doing that, I've got to use certain products that like people have been like, wow, that I really enjoy doing that. Like over this last year, I really started talking. My channel's starting taking off now. Almost at 500 subscribers, and it's like I never thought almost 500 people would like what I post. My podcast is starting to take off. I've had the opportunity to talk to some of the nicest people.
You've had a lot of folks on your show.
Yeah, when I first started my podcast, it was me and a buddy of mine that we did Google Hangouts on YouTube, and then we landed Brandon Herrera from the AK guy, and I was just like, I've watched this guy for years. The guy who was planning on making the AK-50 at some point in his life. And I was just like, wow. Like, I got Brandon Herrera on my podcast. And I'm like, I just kept, like, I was just hustling, just trying to get people. Then I landed John Patton from the Gun Collective. And that was like an eye-opener to me of how much, like, wow, like, it's not like he's I fanboyed out a little bit, and because it's like I've watched the Gun Collective. I don't talk to John that much, but like if you ever see this, he actually is one of he was a big inspiration to get into the gun industry. And I will always credit him with that. So I got him, I got Johnny from 182nd Ideas. I get to talk to the coolest people. Then we had Clips Holsters on my show. They were the first company to ever want to come on the podcast, and I was like,
wow, that's cool.
Like it humbled me. I'm like, wow, I must be doing something right. Like I wouldn't say I'm the best podcast in the world, but like the fact that I'm just trying to get companies, like we had Josiah from Palmetto State Armory come on. That was like such a good show, and we had Darkstorm Industries come on. But then I think the pinnacle of this year was really big for me, especially working at Gunworks, working in an industry that I love. But then also I get to talk to, look at this year, you and I are finally sitting down doing this.
I know.
I've kind of trolled you for years.
Just a bit.
Yeah, I did. I'll admit. I'll have to send you, I hope you saw the photo when we were teaching. I was just like, oh, hey, look, it's Charlie. and of course you're teaching a class, and I don't care. I'm sending you this. I'm sending you the photo. But like, I was on Hank Strange's show a couple times, and it's like,
oh, that's cool.
I listen to him every single night. Like, so like I'm living my dream, but it's also I'm starting to see the opportunities where if I could do this for a living, I would love my life. If I could make content, my big goal is I want to get to 1,000 subscribers this year. That's my big goal for 2020. I've already hit
2021.
Yeah. It happens. I'll probably still write 2020 on a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
You write checks. That's so archaic.
I'm an old guy.
That's so archaic.
Old guy.
That's so archaic.
No, I only write a few checks.
Well, that's like the homeless guy that asks us for money. I don't carry cash on me.
See, this back when I moved to Boston when I was 18, 100 years ago. People wouldn't ask. They wouldn't ask for $1. They'd say, "Hey, man, you got 68 cents." 68 cents?
That's obnoxious.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah. It's inflation, but it's
right.
I know it's gonna kill us one day with all this like electronic payment and cryptocurrency. That's why I'm just like waiting to see how it plays out.
Right.
But I'm just at the point where it's like, hey, I'm done worrying about politics right now. Like, I'm gonna be worried, but also I can't let it control me. Like I did this year so far. Now we're doing the collaboration event. Yesterday I shot a ton of video with Tiberius Gibb. He's out of Rhode Island. Wicked cool dude. So like I'm already reaching certain goals, and
here's the Massachusetts thing. We're a half mile from our exit, and then we put our blinker on and work our way over.
Yeah, I don't even use blinkers. No, I don't care. Well, no,
that's how old school I am. I still use my blinker.
I don't even
use it. I have a show and people are watching.
Well, like, I'm surprised no one's given us the Boston salute yet.
Right?
Yeah.
The one-fingered salute.
Yeah. And I try to like hide my accent as much as I can.
Oh my God! So I didn't grow up here, so I don't have one.
I have one if I have a couple of beers on me. I'm just
if I have a couple of beers, pal, and then it really comes out.
Oh.
Wait, is this where we're supposed to go? Woo! Okay. I saw there were 2 X's for 44.
That was
okay. So
awesome.
There's the Massachusetts.
Yeah.
He's a wicked bad driver.
I mean, you have a Charger though, so you got the horsepower. You have the horsepower to where you can kind of pull that off. Like if I did that in the Soul, it's kind of demasculating, right? To be quite honest. But I
had a moment. I was interviewing a guy in Pennsylvania a few months ago, and he's like, "Hey man, I love the Charger, and it's got a lot of horsepower and stuff." And I'm like, we passed the point where we needed to turn to go back to wrap the show up, but everything was going well, so I just kept driving. And he's like, you should just put it in neutral and bang you. And I'm like, I don't know if we can do that. When I was editing the show, I'm like, I totally should have done that. That would have been so badass.
Yeah, I just watched your show with Sarah Joy Obrecht.
Oh, Sarah is awesome.
She is one of the nicest. She's on the Dark episode of the Shooting Ones podcast. Yeah. She came on like right before they shut Google Hangouts down. We had good conversation. Technically and like logistically did not work out. We ended up having to go on Instagram live to finish the show.
Sarah's
one of the nicest people I've ever had the pleasure to talk to.
So what I love about my show, and what I'm doing is my plan is just to increase my circle of friends.
Of course, yeah.
And so we met at the SHOT Show in 2020, and I sat with her and her husband.
You didn't get the coof?
I did. I flew in on a Tuesday. I hung out on Tuesday. I interviewed some people on Wednesday. I went to a gathering Wednesday night, and I got up on Thursday, and I'm like, and then I flew out on Friday. I went down. I talked to Jerry Mitchell. I got a picture with him. I said, hey, I want to meet you. I want to put a name with a face. I want to have you on the show sometime. I want to come down to Louisiana.
Hell yeah. That would be.
And then I had there were no shuttles back to the hotel, so I had to get a friggin' Uber.
How much did you pay for that Uber?
I don't even remember. But I got in the Uber. I was staying at Circus, and then went back to my hotel. I just stayed in bed all day.
Yeah.
I met a couple friends for dinner, and I got up the next morning and left. So,
that's what I hear. Like it's expensive. I hear that you can either do SHOT Show very cheap, or everything's expensive.
Everything's expensive, man.
Yeah.
Like $14 for a drink, and
that's overpriced.
Yeah.
And I'm not a big drinker. Like I like my craft beers. We're back in Plymouth right now, and
we're back.
The amount of craft breweries, I'll admit, that's where I show my millennial side. I like my craft beers.
Yeah.
Working as a bouncer at a bar that literally did so many craft beers. I'm a snob. Like if someone you hand me a Miller Lite, and I'm like, this is trash.
What am I supposed to do with this?
This is piss. That's all it is. And then
you can use this. One of the great lines, one of the old jokes I've had for forever is, how is American beer similar to sex in a canoe?
How?
They're both effing too close to water.
That's good. I'm gonna definitely quote you on that. That is hilarious. Oh my gosh! Wow.
Yeah. All right, listen. We need to swing around and wrap it up. So, how can people find all of you and all of your stuff? I know we said we were going to talk about the cigar channel, but that never came up.
It's my B channel. I don't promote it that much. Because my focus is guns, but cigars is I have another passion of smoking cigars. Before I actually texted you today, I was at one of my local brick and mortar picking up some stuff because I got to film a couple videos today. It's taken off a little bit, getting good views, but Smoking Millennial, it's my B channel. It's mostly cigar reviews. It's where I rant and I kind of don't care what I say because I'm not looking to do anything with it. So if you want some good, true Massachusetts humor, then that's fine. But no, my main channel is Shooting Gallery New England. Woo! I actually got on an accident here a couple weeks ago. Someone rear-ended me. I was no damage. I was like, all right, fine, we're all set. And the lady was just like, Mondays, right? I'm like, dude, get a grip. But you can find me on Shooting Gallery NE on YouTube. Yep. I'm on Instagram.
You do a lot of Instagram.
I do a lot of Instagram. I don't know why. I was on Parler. Hopefully we're getting Parler back. You can find me on Patreon, Facebook. I'm trying to get my Facebook up a little bit, but I don't know how that's going to work.
About this Patreon, man.
Yeah, Patreon. I only have 2 patrons. One is Clover Tech, and the other is this kid James. He's been a very good subscriber since I started. So this is actually the bar I used to bounce at. Every Friday night I'd stand at that door and tell people that you're too drunk, you can't come in. Nice. So
but you're in the band, Charlie.
Yeah, that happened to me one time, and then they're like, dude, I'm in the band. I'm like, I'm sorry. But yeah, Instagram, Facebook, Shooting Gallery New England or Shooting Gallery NE. You can find me anywhere. I do a lot of guns, not as much gunsmithing as possible. I'm starting to do reviews. We got the Great Shooting in the Woods podcast every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tonight we got Anarchy Outdoors coming on the show. It's gonna be a good show.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So do you record the show live and then put it out? Gotcha.
I do it live and then I put the show out.
Very cool. Yeah, I record these live and then I put these out.
Nice.
Right.
And I will have to admit, the parallel parking job I did before we left today was spot on.
Wicked pisser.
Yeah, with that nice,
here we go. Let's
that nice Maura Healy Tyrant sticker on
Maura Healy Tyrant.
If someone stole my plate carrier, I'm gonna be so PO'd.
No one's gonna steal your plate carrier. Oof.
You don't have the backup camera in this?
No, please, dude. I used to drive a UPS truck. All right.
Really?
Yes.
Oh,
I spent 2 summers working at UPS.
Oh,
all right.
Wow.
Yeah, I cut it a little too soon.
And I'm driving a standard too. But yeah.
Oh, I miss driving a stick.
I hate driving it now.
I love it.
I hate it.
I feel like I'm in control of my engine. It's the only thing I'm in control.
I've already replaced the clutch on it, and
oof.
Yeah, it's at 200,000, but it's doing me good.
A good deal.
Yeah, but thank you.
All right,
very
listen.
much,
Thank you very much for being on the show.
Anytime, man.
Glad to do this. Don't go anywhere yet, ladies and gentlemen. Please check out. You can watch Riding Shotgun with Charlie on YouTube. You can watch it on Gunstreamer. You can also watch it on the Ops Lens app. You can listen to the show on the Self Defense Radio Network. You can listen to the show on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, on iHeartRadio. I think you can get it some other places. I think people take the podcast and just put them in other places. Like I get some notification that said someone else is putting out my show. So those are the ones that I know I send it to, and I don't know where these other people pick it up, and that's okay too. Please check out the Self-Defense Radio Network, sdrn.us. It is all of your pro-freedom podcasts in one place. What else? Make sure if you want to support the Stagecoach to help get the Stagecoach across America, you can buy some Riding Shotgun stickers there. These are for you.
Oh, thank you, my friend.
You can buy some Gungram stickers there. I'm the guy that plays the trumpet and shoots a gun. You have a couple of those guys, and you can get
swag.
a patch. You have a patch wall.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
And I looked to see if mine was on there.
No, it was not. It was not. I was actually thinking I gotta get a Riding Shotgun with Charlie patch.
Now you got one.
Oh man, this is going on the gram tonight. Adding to the patch wall. Oh, that is dope. Thank you so much, man. I love this.
All right.
I'm a swag ho. I love swag.
Excellent.
I love it. Oh, this is awesome. Thank you.
That's cool, man. All right, listen, and please like and subscribe and share with all of your folks. It is how we get the Stagecoach across America, and we will see you guys next time. Thanks a lot.
Peace.